Today's episode of the Tavern Chat podcast is brought to you in part by Flipboard. Flipboard is one of those apps that you don't realize you're using it as much as you are until you don't have it. My prior phone, which was a Google Pixel, had it pre-installed. I used it constantly. It was a great place to catch current events, stories of interest, just fun stuff, all in one place. And I changed to an iPhone, and it took me a while to figure out that I was missing something, and what I was missing was Flipboard. So, if you don't have it installed on your phone or tablet, go to flipboard.com and correct that now. Hello and welcome to the Tavern Chat podcast. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. If you hear a rumbling in the background, it's my cat Ashley on her perch on my desk, purring the fuck away. So, one quick thing, and then we're going to follow up on the common tongue. A lot of comments on the tenkarstavern.com, aka the blog side, because I did this as a podcast, and then I did a post covering much of the same. I thought it was an interesting topic, and it was. A lot of feedback, which I find to be very, very cool. So, before we get into that, though, today, Saturday, December 1st, kicks off OSR Christmas. So, for the month of December, if you like old school gaming, not just clones of D&D, but old school gaming in general, bookmark tenkarstavern.com, tenkarstavern.com, and make sure you visit it every day or every other day or so. Pretty much there's going to be at least 12 days of OSR Christmas. These are days that we give away stuff that's donated by the community, by publishers and such, from my own collection. There are days that are going to be designated worldwide, which means every gift available could be randomly chosen for you, and it could ship anywhere in the world. Or it's PDFs, and they can go anywhere in the world, obviously. And some days are going to be designated U.S. only for the physical prizes. So, and how I think I'm going to do this is if you randomly get chosen for a physical prize and you are not in the States, I'll give you a $5 gift certificate to RPG Now for you to use as a consolation, and we'll put the prize back in the pool. It's U.S. shipping. It's just out of your fucking mind if you want to ship anything from the U.S. outside the country. It's insane. But in any case, tonight, what just went up, what is in the mix, and you have 2 days to simply comment on the post to be in the mix for it. Glyn Seal, Monkey Blood Design and Publishing, is donating the following. Now, this following is a bundle shipping anywhere in the world. Lord of Southam, Oldfeld bundle for the Middlelands. It's a Middlelands hardcover book, Middlelands expanded hardcover book, 2 hex maps, a game master screen, a randomizer drop chart, 5 character tracker bookmarks. Generous as hell. Again, anywhere in the world. He's also donating a PDF copy of the Middlelands. We have a bundle of OSR patches from Thad Moore. Thaddeus is the one that did the classic blue OSR patch, and then the Conan patch, and a Middlelands patch. These are going anywhere in the world. It's 3 patches. A PDF copy of White Star Galaxy Edition from James Bond, Battle Rider Games, and a PDF copy of The Adventure of the Argentine connection for Operation White Box from Stout-Hearted Games. That's just not for nothing fucking amazing. I mean, listen to that. All right, so go to TankCarsTavern.com throughout the month of December and make a comment. Get in the mix. Look at the list of shit that's available. It's fucking amazing. All right, so going back to the common tongue, and you heard my observations yesterday. But like I said, on the blog side, we had a few comments too. And of course, some are tongue-in-cheek. Common is just like English. If the person you're speaking to doesn't understand, simply speak louder and slower until they do. And that is, probably par for the course. I wrote American just so I would start with common. And as I said today, English is in many ways the common language, at least of commerce, of the marketplace. So just putting it out there. Jacob, where I come from, is a language called Chinook jargon. It's a mixture of Chinook, English, Chinese, Hawaiian, and probably others. It was used by locals and traders who visited the area. So there are other examples of a common tongue, which I find to be extremely cool. But I think what the point is that you have to remember, it is not the native tongue of most speakers. It is a secondary, it's a trade tongue. SD, when my players enter a dwarven citadel, an Evelyn city, or whatever other race inhabits that primary region, some will speak common, but oftentimes most of what they hear is the region's native tongue. Same as with orcs, kobolds, etc. We do it with monsters all the time. Why not do it with the rest of the world? Definitely. Big Horror links to a blog post of his at cheekychos.blogspot.com. If you want to go to the link, go to the blog. It's in the comments. Matt N links to lingua franca as equivalent of common. Donka is, of course, getting all crazy in the background. Darcy, the common tongue comes from Tolkien's Middle-earth, Western, or the common speech was inserted into D&D along with other popular Tolkien creations. Well, it's interesting to, hear a reason as to why it is in your gaming. But from Father Dave, now I'm going to probably pronounce this wrong. It's Koine, so Koine Greek. The language spread throughout the Mediterranean by Alexander the Great, and the language used to write the Gospels was literally means common. So common, I guess, the common Greek. Some languages have, if you look at German, there's a high dialect and a low dialect. We're never going to get into different dialects, but it's interesting. Plus, all those Romance languages have Latin as a root, which is far more important than non-Romance speakers realize. My wife's native tongue is Romanian, and she can understand most other Romance languages without much effort, especially Italian and French. We tend to forget, at least as Americans, that yes, Romanian is a Romance language. It shares history and links with Spanish, French, Italian. I know when I was in school and we heard about the Romance languages, Romanian was never mentioned. But I had a Romanian friend in high school who did make a point of saying, Romanian is linked with Italian and French and Spanish and the other Latin rooted languages. So that's interesting stuff on the common tongue. And it does have a real world background, but again, I think as it's used in most fantasy role-playing games or fantasy settings, I think it's just assumed that it is the primary tongue for everybody and everybody speaks it fluently. And I think that's an oversimplification. It definitely works for a convention play. I would not change it for there, but I think in a long-running campaign, especially a world that you yourself design, you can take into account language and set things up appropriately to make it more important. But yeah, great feedback on that on the blog side. I got to do more crossover post/podcast episodes to keep that stuff going. All right, folks, if you are in the New York area, tomorrow is Sunday, December 2nd, 12 noon. You can come down to the Complete Strategist and join myself, my wife Rach, and Joe the lawyer. We're hitting the Complete at 12, and then after a little shopping, hitting Stout, which is a local pub, for some beers. I will buy the first round. Joe will buy the second, unless we've got dozens of fucking people show up, in which case you will buy your own shit. But hey, listen, if I see another face or two, I will be very happy. It's always great to see members of this community. So, on that note, be safe, stay healthy, God bless, roll your dice well, and Joe and I will be recording an episode of Tavern Chat / Joe the Lawyer's Wondrous Imaginings podcast, and it's going to be a crossover like I've done prior with Spike Pit. And it's also going to be episode 200 of this daily podcast. Thank you for joining me on this ride. All right, folks. I'm out of here. Later.